All right, all right, all right. All right. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Can you hear me out there? If you can hear me, go ahead and put a 7 in the chat box for me. All right, awesome, awesome. I see you can hear me. We're going to get started in just a minute or so. I'm just waiting for a couple more folks to log in here, and then we will most certainly get started. Really excited to be here today and share all this awesome content with you. Couple of things while we're waiting for some more folks to log on that would help you get the most out of this training. I know most of you out there have dual monitors. Turn the other one off for me. Do me a favor. I know what you do during webinars because I do the same thing. I go and I look at something on a different monitor. This is really important today, so do me a favor. Turn off that second monitor. Turn off the iPad, iPhone, all those other distractions, and just for a little while, take some time for just you and pay attention to what I'm saying. So, all right, I see a couple more people logging on. We're just going to hold off another second or two here. That's cool with everyone. While we're waiting, if you want to go ahead and tell me where you're from in the chat box, that would be super awesome. Oh, wow, we got Chicago. Ooh, San Diego. That's one of my favorite towns. Love it there. Great, great place. New Orleans. That's where I got married. Just a great, great city. Great food. Making me hungry. All right, everyone's got hopefully a bunch of coffee, drinks, popcorn, donut, whatever it is you need to make it through. Are we ready to get started? Let's do it. So today's presentation, as you can see, is called 4 Ways to Grow Your Firm to 6 Figures and Beyond without being one of those marketing geeks or software nerds. Who is this for? Let's make sure you're in the right place. If you're a bookkeeper, an EA, a CPA, a controller, a CFO, one of those techie IT people, or a tax preparer, you are in the right place today. Let me ask you a question. What would your life look like if you can consistently pull in 3, 4, or even 6 new recurring clients each month without hiring staff or spending a ton of time on marketing? What would it be like if at least half your income came in each month without you having to lift a finger? Yep, that can happen. I'm going to explain how. What would it be like if you got to work only with clients that you adore and who truly appreciate your expertise? None of those whining, sniveling, you know those clients, the ones that you look at the phone, you see their phone number and you don't want to talk to them. None of those folks are we going to be working with. If you could do that, if that could be what your future looks like, would that be okay with you? I bet it would be. So in this next hour, we're going to discuss how to have a much deeper impact on your clients while actually spending less time with them. How to create an actual reusable asset that you can sell over and over again. How to build leverage in your business so you're getting paid consistently whether you're working or not and get off that income roller coaster for good. Would that be cool with you? I bet it would. We'll also discuss my exact system that lets you make 6 figures without having to work with clients one-on-one so we can help more people and make a much better income. I'm going to show you a proven system for getting clients, and not just any clients, but clients that respect you and listen to your awesome advice. We're going to talk about how to create stickiness so clients will be stuck to you like glue, because we want them to stay with us, well, forever. We're also going to discuss how to deliver the results your clients deserve every time without doing any more work or reinventing the wheel each and every time. How to never perform random acts of consulting again. I know some of you have been in that position where you're given a project and you just kind of go do some research and make stuff up. We don't want to do that anymore. So we're going to discuss how not to do that. How to get clients to see you as a partner instead of an added expense. And how to never ever deal with that dreaded scope creep again. You know that, well, how about could you just do this little additional thing for me? We're not going to do that anymore. So what makes this presentation different than other presentations you've seen before? Well, first off, I want to assure you there is absolutely nothing for sale here today. just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. If you've got some popcorn, I guess I could pause and let you go make some microwave popcorn, but anyway, hopefully you've got some popcorn or, like I said, a donut or some coffee. All right, so does that make sense to everybody so far? Cool. So why the heck should you stick around through this presentation? Well, if you stay through the whole thing and you promise to behave yourselves, I will send you a copy of these slides. And I've spent a ton of time putting these together, so that would be a really awesome thing to get if you stick around. Sound good to everybody? Cool. So are you growing tired of weary of hearing all the pundits talk about the future of our industry, but they never ever give you a clear blueprint on how that future would work? I'm sure you guys have heard Ron Baker and other people talk about value pricing. And it all sounds like something that makes sense from an economic standpoint, but no one really seems to explain to us in the accounting industry how we're actually going to do that. And that's something I want to talk to you about here today. Are you tired of dealing with clients who don't seem to understand what it is that you actually do? In fact, some of them seem to be kind of mad at you. You go and you redo their books, or you help with a tax return, or whatever it is you do, and they don't understand what you do, don't see the value in it, and some of them, when they get your bill, are just kind of mad. Let's not do that anymore, if that would be cool with everybody here. Do you feel like you're getting buried in an ever-increasing pile of mundane paperwork? I'm blown away when I visit CPA firms who say that they're paperless, and yet what I see is a giant pile of paper everywhere. I don't think that's what we want to do to lead anymore, and we're going to talk about how not to do that kind of thing if that's great with everyone. And all that shiny new technology. It's pretty, but who the heck can keep up with all that stuff? There are new apps every single day, and I don't know about you, but it seems to be a little overwhelming to me. So at this point, I'm guessing a lot of you feel totally overwhelmed. You don't know what direction you're going in. You look like this Matrix guy over here, although I don't think I could do a back bend quite as well as he can. And you're also starting to become really worried that a lot of the stuff that you're used to doing that is your bread and butter is about to be outsourced or actually just totally eliminated. I mean, they're talking about at this point that between the Internet of Things and all this artificial intelligence, that about 90% of transactions are going to be able to be coded all by their little lonesome selves. And we're seeing that right now with the bank feeds and the rules and all these other things that are coming out. And it's kind of a scary time. I think you guys would agree with that. You worry that at this point your income could just completely shrink up, that there would be nothing left for you. Do you get the sense that there's a better way to do all this stuff, but you just can't figure out how to get there? Here's the good news. None of these things are really the problem at this point. See, I told you there'd be good news. The real problem is you haven't made these 5 essential shifts that I'm going to show you today. More about that in just a sec. And these will unlock the door to shiny, happy clients. Yep, that's an REM thing for those of you who get the joke. Working way fewer hours. Because, it's really fun to see some of you folks who work like 80 hours in a week. And that's just crazy. I think you'd all agree that it'd be neat if you could spend some time with your family and maybe, I don't know, a little sanity would be cool as well. Feeling that you're actually contributing to your client's bottom line. I think that would be really important to a lot of you. Getting out of the, as Michael Gerber says, doing it grind. I saw him speak a bunch of years ago at one of the first leader conferences I ever went to out in Las Vegas. And I still remember him standing up there talking about doing it. And at the time, I didn't understand what he was talking about. But I've read the E-Myth probably 3 or 4 times now because I'm a little slow in getting things sometimes. But I finally get what he's talking about. And unfortunately, we in the accounting industry have been in the doing it grind for a long, long time. We're going to also, we're also trying to unlock the doors to working with only the people you want to when you want to. Oh, we got when yo want to. We missed a you. That's cool. Awesome. So when yo want to. In my own practice, only work with people that I enjoy. So folks that don't have a sense of humor, clients that are super demanding, clients that try to work outside of my working hours, those are not my client base. And they shouldn't be yours either. Would that be cool if we didn't have clients like that? Awesome. And how about this? Wouldn't it be cool if you could get paid even when you aren't doing a darn thing? And even if you don't have that client anymore. For years now, I've made at least half of my income in doing literally absolutely nothing. And I am a star at doing nothing, and I bet some of you could be really good at that too. It's kind of nice to wake up each day, each month, and at the beginning of the month and be like, well, I've already got about half my income, so we want to talk about how we could get to that part if that would be cool with you guys. Super. So there are 5 simple upgrades you need to have to hit 6 figures plus per year in income. And we're going to talk about those right this second. First off, though, a quick little break on who the heck am I? So my name is Terry Wilson. I have been a pro advisor now for 14 years. I actually also have one of those cool accounting degree things. I am a Intuit reseller and have been for, oh gosh, forever it feels like, for a long, long time. I have worked with clients in pretty much every industry and have pushed millions upon millions of dollars to my clients' bottom lines over the years. Enough about me, let's go on. So let's talk about how things used to be. And I know a lot of you know this, but we'll just go through it real quick. So, we've heard a lot, especially recently, about how, manufacturing used to be a way of life here, and you could get a job in some sort of manufacturing facility and, you could make a decent living that way. But then the robots came in, and all of a sudden we had automation, and those jobs shrunk up and disappeared. And we're in the same situation in accounting. If you look at a recent Intuit survey, we're saying that those jobs, all those compliance jobs, are going to be done by machine at some point. And yeah, I know someone out there is going to be like, well, there's always a transaction, you can't code and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there is, and that'll get escalated to an actual human being, but that might be 10% of the transactions or less. So we got to start thinking about how we could actually provide more value to our clients, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. So a lot of times we talk to clients about having a business plan, but we are actually moving to a time where we need to talk to them about having a business plan and the software that actually helps drive that plan. Just having a piece of paper right now is such a static idea. We need to start moving to something that's much more dynamic. So let's talk about in the old days. For those of you who actually learned accounting on paper, this will be familiar to you. And for younger folk, just sort of play along, because I'm not sure that they even have ledger paper in college anymore. I'm showing my age in this. But anyway, for those of you who remember, we had ledger paper where we put all of the general ledger accounts, and then we had the sub-ledgers of each account, and then you took the total and you moved it over to the general ledger. And for you younger folk, that is actually like what the software does in the background, in case you didn't know that part. But anyway, that was the old days where you spent hours and hours writing all this stuff down. Some of you will remember the one-rate system, and that was an improvement from the ledger sub-ledger paper. And you always had errors, then you had to go look through a sub-ledger and find errors. And nowadays, you can run an entire business from an iPhone, an Android phone, or a tablet. And, that's a huge jump forward. And if you can imagine that's where we're at right now, you can imagine where we're heading. Hold on one sec. I'm going to take a drink. All right. It's a lot of talking for me. All right. So let's talk about what the future looks like. So here's the future of bookkeeping. And I know some of you are going to gasp or get mad. And you should get mad, but don't get mad at technology. Get mad at the fact that we need to move in a different direction. And frankly, if you really think about it, compliance was never the job our clients wanted us to do in the first place. What they really wanted was our help. And compliance is not our help. Compliance is us sitting there and doing data entry. And that is not where we want to be with clients. It's not going to provide that stickiness, and it's not going to help more businesses actually do better. And that's what I think a lot of you got into accounting for in the first place. And for those of you who are on the tax side, look at this couple in the background. And I'm sure that if you do tax at all, you've met these people. They're pissed off at you because they just found out that they owe like $40,000. And you're also frustrated because you've tried to deal with them during the year. They've been busy, and all of a sudden you have to show them their tax return and now they're mad. This isn't a relationship that we should want to have in our industry. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And here's what the future of tax returns looks like. This is a new product that launched recently. And yes, you can get a return done for $299. And for those of you who do a return for a whole lot more, that's got to be kind of scary. I know some of you are going to again say, well, I provide a different level of service, and that's all great, but this is going to be in front of your clients. And some of them are going to make decisions to do a $299 return. Many of them have already gone to TurboTax, and a lot of them are going to look at this as well. And the accounting industry at this point seems to just be broken beyond repair. We seem to have a group of folks who want to stay in the past. And if that's what you want to do, you could go ahead and tune out of this webinar because it won't be for you. I'm not interested in staying in the past, and you shouldn't be either, because you should really, really want to help your clients. And to do that, we've got to get out of a mentality that we've had all these years, which is kind of self-serving in a way. We really, really need to be client-focused at this point. So let's talk about how to be more client-focused, if that would be cool with everybody. Is that cool with everyone? Cool. So here's the thing, though. A secret, a huge secret. And no, not the secret. We're not talking about that today. But a secret that your clients don't know. And that's kind of one of the big keys to what you can provide for them. You have some idea what this thing says. You could look at a set of financial statements and in 2 seconds flat, know how the business is doing. Your client, and I realize this is only half a balance sheet. It's all that would fit here. Your clients on the other side of the coin haven't a clue what that said. I bet I could hear a pin drop for those of you who can tell me that your client can explain what a balance sheet means. See, there's that pin. Yeah, most of us know very, very well that our clients can read a profit and loss statement. At least they can read the bottom line number. If the thing's actually correct, which, as I know you guys know, it's typically not. But they have no idea what that balance sheet means. And that's where you're going to come in to save the day, which is helping them understand what all this stuff means. And here's a scary thing to keep in mind. According to Gallup, for the first time in 35 years, the number of business deaths exceeded the number of business births. Now that totally sucks, excuse my French. And, at this point, you guys are the chosen people to fix this problem. You've got to get out there and help businesses actually succeed. And that's where it's your chance to be a hero, because knowledge is power, and you have the knowledge to be able to help these folks move their businesses forward and be profitable. So where we are now is we're chugging along and doing the same old stuff that we've done as an industry. In fact, even when we talk about, value pricing, most of us just turn around and do fixed fee. But here's the thing, there's quite a lot of danger ahead for us. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, our industry is undergoing massive changes with all of the artificial intelligence coming in. And here's what we keep hearing about, value pricing. And this is one of many drawings that were out on one of the sites many of you probably visit. And it was trying to explain how to value price. And quite frankly, I don't know about you, but just even the visuals confusing as heck. And then to try to read through the idea that I'm supposed to have a pricing person and figure out price based on what the client thinks the value is, and then there's a car, and I don't know, this is just confounding to me. I think it's so confusing that I think we need to talk about a different way to go about this, if that would be all right with all of you. Some people in this industry seem to be stuck in the old way of doing things, and I want to encourage you to move forward. So what I've been discussing at this point is that there's a giant hole in the accounting market. And yeah, I used a donut here. I don't know why. I don't even eat donuts, but that wasn't the point. Anyway, so there's a giant hole in the accounting market, and it's one that you should fill. So let's talk about what that is. But first, let's talk about 5 shifts in the way that you should be thinking. Yeah, this guy gets taller. It's weird. Anyway, so the old way. Here is an actual set of services from a firm local to me. And wow, they know how to do a lot of things. I'm not sure they know how to do a lot of these things very well, but it seems that they can do, well, I think everything. That is pretty much a way that will get you to ruin. There's a much simpler way of doing things, which is to solve one problem for one type of client. Be the best at just one thing. I mean, you don't get a burger at Chick-fil-A, do you? And I mean, if you went into Taco Bell and asked for a pizza, well, heck, they might make a pizza there, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, let's do one thing really, really well and kick butt at it. And when I'm saying that, I'm not just saying the whole adage of pick a niche, because that sounds good. What I'm talking more about is pick a sort of client that you want to work with and a problem that you solve. That doesn't necessarily mean that that niche is wholesale distribution or something like that. That more means I need to pick a problem I solve for clients and then tailor my solution from there. So let's talk about the dumb way we've worked all these years. Hold on, I'm getting one more sip of water here. So here's the dumb way that we've all worked, and I've done it too. So let's say you charge out at $150 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $6,000 a week. So if you could work all 40 hours, which will never, ever happen, ever, the only way you're going to make money is to raise your rate or work more hours. And some of you probably are looking at that thinking, wow, that's good money. Others of you are like, wow, that's not very good money. Here's the thing. That's based on just my time. And that's a crazy way to actually bill or value anything. There's an easier way to do this, and that would be to create a premium program for your clients and then charge them anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 to get a proven result. And before you freak out, of course, the idea of what my training would be to teach you how to do that. And guess what? Just like you're used to with Intuit, we can actually let clients help each other in a private Facebook group that we put together. So not all of the burden of the help is on us. And then once a week, we can either group or one-on-one, we do a coaching call where we talk to them about what we're doing in our program and help them with any problems that they might be having. So let's talk about what premium pricing means for a fixed set of deliverables. Remember, you are not selling time in 6-minute intervals. What you're selling is the value of the result of what you deliver. Time is not money, and in fact, time is the more important thing than money. I know some of you know this, and maybe all of you know this, but I can always come up with more money. I cannot make more than 24 hours in a day, though. Time is definitely not a replenishable asset for us. We want to make sure that what we do is a premium program. I mean, I have found over the years that working with cheapskates is one of the worst things I can do for myself, my self-esteem. And it doesn't work out well for the client either. People who aren't willing to invest in themselves should not be the clients that you're investing your precious time in. So the smart way of doing things is to share the amazing knowledge that you have with business owners who desperately need it and really, really appreciate it. But we've all gotten into this thing of sharing our knowledge one person, one business at a time. And that is not really the way we want to be doing things. That's not the way that we would build a real business. And frankly, we need to be the model of how to build a real business. I mean, these folks are leaning on us for business advice. So let's be real business people, which means we don't work with people one-on-one all the time. Let's talk about technology for a minute. So when I started in this 14 years ago, we had this was the software I had to learn. I had to learn the differences between Desktop, Pro, Premier, and Enterprise for QuickBooks. And I actually took on QuickBooks Point of Sale at the same time. This was, at the time, felt like a lot to learn. So, and it took me a little while, but eventually I got pretty good at explaining the differences between Pro, Premier, and Enterprise and knowing how Point of Sale works with QuickBooks and blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about what the environment looks like today. This is the accounting ecosystem that the nice people at AccountTex, which used to be Sleater, brought to us. This is actually nowhere close to the number of apps. There are currently over 800 apps on Intuit's on the QuickBooks App Store. This is frankly just overwhelming as it could possibly be. And this is where we get back to the thing I was talking about earlier about how important it is for us to actually only deal with one set of problems. If you try to learn all of this, you're out of your mind. There is absolutely no way you're going to be good at all these different softwares. It's not possible. And you're not doing the clients a service either if you try to learn all this stuff. What we need to do, pick a problem and go deep into that problem. What we don't want to do is try to learn all this. This is just insanity here. It's making my eyes cross. So, as I mentioned, what happens when you try to help everybody? You end up feeling really, really overwhelmed. You're continuously having to reinvent the wheel and learn new things. And that, my friend, is not a way to run a business. So, as I mentioned, we want to solve one problem for one type of business. We also want to make sure that we're the one making the decisions about these softwares. The idea is that we should figure out what's best in class and the best overall solution for our client. What we don't want to do is let our clients dictate software choices and then dictate how we work within those choices. That is not a good way to actually lead your clients into the future. You should have done all of that research to begin with. You're the expert and they're hiring you to figure it out. It's not the other way around. So the thing we want to do is own our own specialized acquisition offer. And that offer is how we're going to develop a unique process that helps your clients get the same consistent results each and every time. We're going to have something so awesome, which is a recorded asset we can use over and over again. I mean, how many times have you explained the same thing to clients? Stop doing that. It's not the way you build a business. Why would you explain the same thing again and again? You have the opportunity now to actually explain that one time and one time only, and then get the client to watch that. We really want to focus at this point on getting results for our clients. And we want to make sure that we don't do, this is kind of back to the random acts of consulting, we don't just put out information and then not support the client. And I'm going to pick on a particular company that you might be familiar with who does a 2-day QuickBooks training that many of my clients have taken, yet they seem to have learned almost absolutely nothing. And that's because A, nobody can take in 2 whole days of training and actually remember most of it. And B, there's no follow-up support to that training. And that causes a huge issue because those clients then have questions and have nowhere to go with them. So you could reinvent the wheel, which we've discussed is not a cool thing to do. Or you could just take a small shortcut and copy my specialized acquisition offer. All you need to do is insert your niche/problem, depending on what we decide together on that part. You're going to make it obviously uniquely yours. I have my own personality. I'm sure you guys do as well. And we want to let your personality and your expertise shine through. And it's really actually just that simple. So a good specialized acquisition offer would establish you as a leader in your market. And I know that you guys are leaders in your market. It's just that when we do things like compliance work and data entry, it doesn't feel to our clients like we're a leader. It feels like we're just doing busy work for them. The best thing about the specialized acquisition offer is it's going to allow you to make a lot more money for a lot less work and serve a lot more people. Because I know a lot of you out there want the same thing I want, which is many more greatly successful clients. And the more successful your clients are, the longer they're going to stick with you and the more money there is for you as well. Now, what else can we do to get paid? Because I know that's important to you guys, and that's where we come up with a monthly maintenance fee. So not only are we going to create a system for our clients, but we're going to charge to maintain it after we've gotten that initial system created. That's one of the ways that we're going to create stickiness. And that's how we can get to 6 figures and beyond and not end up feeling just completely worn out and feeling like we're not actually serving the people that we signed up to serve. Let's talk about how to get clients. So, this just brings back horrible memories. Just looking at her and thinking about getting dressed up and going to a B&I meeting or a Chamber of Commerce or one of those great mixers. Or, talking to the Mary Kay lady. And if you sell Mary Kay, I am not trying to insult you, but it's just that typically the Mary Kay lady has not exactly been a great client fit for me. So there have been times where I've been stuck talking to somebody that I've thought, wow, I wish I could chew my own arm off because this isn't a really great use of my time. And I think we all loved having to put together that 30-second elevator speech. I don't think I've ever been in an elevator and gotten to use a speech. Still haven't figured that part out. That is an old way of doing things, and that isn't the way we're going to do anything. Let's talk some more about the old way, which, we have letters and postcards, SEO, which is a new old way, but it's still the old way. Your accounting website. You could write a book. You could go ask for referrals, word of mouth, shouting from a rooftop, get your own YouTube channel, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, all these things. This is all, and LinkedIn. If I didn't get LinkedIn in here, I am sorry, LinkedIn. You count on this list as well. This is all spray and pray marketing. We don't have a really good target in that. We are literally just praying that one of these people says, I would love to work with you. That is not an efficient way to market. So let's talk about a new way of doing things, a much cooler, better way of doing things. If we have a defined market and a defined product, we can now get clients to come to us using some really cool new tools. And we can use what we call a client conversion funnel to help turn those prospects into high-paying, long-term clients for us. Let's talk about other old way things we aren't going to do anymore. Ever gotten this, lady or guy, I have a quick question person? Hey, Terry, I have a quick question. At which point you think, oh, geez, is this really going to be like a less than 3-minute question, or, is an hour of my time going to go by while I answer this? And now you're concerned again about how am I going to bill for this situation? Let's not do that anymore at all. Let's not have our days interrupted with phone calls and quote unquote quick questions. Instead, how about if we had a help desk or a specific email address that these folks wrote to when they had questions? And again, as I mentioned earlier, we have a group Facebook group. So they can actually help answer each other's questions without your help. And you can just chime in when you feel like you need to say something. And then we have that weekly call we talked about. So during that call, we're definitely going to let them ask any question that they want to ask. If we're smart, we'll actually tell them that we'd like them to ask those questions ahead of time in our Facebook group. Little hint for you. so that we actually know what's coming on that call. So it won't be those surprise question, off-the-wall questions a lot of us get. So at this point, as I've mentioned, accounting is at a crossroads. And the question at this point is, which path are you going to take? You could, like this poor rhino here, stay stuck where you are, doing the same thing you've always been doing it. And I guess putting in more and more hours to hopefully make 6 figures and beyond. Or you could rappel off a building. No, you could have the guts to try something new. And I know that's hard, and especially for some of you, we've gotten so used to the way that things were, but we need to, need to buck up a little and try something new. So here's the thing. Smart folks, and I know you guys are smart folks, invest in a mentor. Smart folks do not try to figure out everything on their own. I mean, that's your position with your clients, is to help them figure things out. And my hope for you is that you take the same shortcut and invest in a mentor. So that gets us to the end of my presentation, and here's what I want to talk to you about. I am, at this point, am looking for a couple people to work with. I don't have a lot of time on my schedule for, this isn't going to be the type of thing where I take on 20 people. I don't have space for that. So space is very limited for the people that I can help. But if you think that this sounds like something that would make sense for you, that you would want to get involved in, I encourage you to apply. It is by application only. So if you're interested, if you want to go ahead and fill out that application, I will schedule a time to chat with you. This is where you could go to apply. So it's thinkquickconsulting.com/apply. I'll leave that up here for a second. And I thank you for attending today and hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Bye now.